Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 228.
228.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel, with everything new on both coasts, which we're actually going to talk about quite a bit today. MEI Travel, they've been at all the media events, not only for Disneyland and Walt Disney World, but also for Universal's Volcano Bay. So definitely check them out. Go to their website, fill out a quote form. They can answer so many different questions about all of the different parks and attractions.
Lots going on. Sounds good.
And so we're heading back about 2 weeks now to the debut of Happily Ever After, which replaced Wishes at the Magic Kingdom. And this was an incredible evening because the show is fantastic. And it's really my favorite of the new things so far this summer.
I would agree. I'd put it right up there with Flight of Passage. I guess it's hard to compare a e-ticket ride to a e-ticket show, but I tell you, this Happily Ever After was spectacular.
And I was ready for Wishes to end. I think it's been here a long time, but I know there's a lot of people who love it. So here we are, and this is Main Street. There's been work going on at the Emporium. It seems like there's work going on in the park quite a bit right now. And so I think we're going to head into the Emporium and check out the merchandise.
Very nice. I quite like this merchandise for Happily Ever After.
I don't even know if it's still here, but the previous day there was still Wishes merchandise, shirts and such, and I don't know where those ended up going. Maybe the outlet eventually. And anyway, they have a Tervis, although for me the Tervis is a little hard to see. I think they should have had a different background on that one.
Well, I think if you fill it, if it's filled with coffee or something, then you can see it just fine. So it's one of those type of Tervises.
Well, I like the Wishes one where it's like a black background and then you see Jiminy Cricket. We collect Tervis. That's
right,
one of the only things I collect. I really like it. And then they have the hat, shirts. There was a pass holder shirt. And then they have other Magic Kingdom merchandise, like the Thomas Kincaid puzzle kind of mixed in with it.
Right. It sort of fits the whole theme of Happily Ever After. And I know part of the show revolves around the key, unlocking your happiness.
Potential?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the theme.
Oh, that's the pass holder. We just want to give you a quick, that is the pass holder shirt.
And it's pretty nice. No, I have no idea what the
whole lock is.
No, I didn't really get the lock part, but I know I would have to read about it. Anyway, they also have the fireworks dessert party still going on.
It's gone way up, right? The price?
Well, actually, I remember when it used to be like $18. Now it's $79.
$79.
But the thing is, you were watching, I think, from that location, and it's not going to be as good as Main Street. You really want to see the show from Main Street. And you could watch it from Fantasyland if you've already seen it. But really, where we are right now is one of the best locations.
We're right on the crest of the little bridge there on Main Street, USA. And look at how awesome. You just saw some lasers, multimedia. I mean, just a spectacular. And this is just the first few seconds. It's really a tremendous show.
Of an 18-minute show. And there are no projections on the back of the castle, but from what I understand, there are some at the side. So if for some reason you can't make it onto Main Street, USA, you can still see some of it from the sides of the castle. Oh,
this is one of my favorite numbers, the Hunchback. There is Quasimodo now.
I think this had the biggest applause, the Hunchback scene. Just, to be able for Disney to bring in some scenes in movies that aren't, maybe as utilized in the parks. Those were really the most popular, I think, of the whole show.
And this was very reminiscent of Disney Dreams over at the previous show at Disneyland Paris, which always was a favorite of ours, especially the Hunchback number. And I think this is a number from Brave.
Right. And that was one of the big numbers. But Big Hero 6 was very popular, Hunchback, and again, some of the ones that you don't really see. And I just want to mention there's a new show at Disney's Hollywood Studios we're going to go see. It started quietly yesterday, and that also has a whole bunch of movie scenes like Tron and...
Right, another projection. This is basically, well, this is not a projection show. It's a fireworks spectacular, but featuring projections. Like they had not, like Wishes did not have this kind of projection aspect.
Well, I mean, the projections are such a big part of the show. You could go see the fireworks from Fantasyland. It's really a good fireworks show. That's the one concern, and there's Moana. That's the one concern I kind of had with it before it started. It's like, are there going to be enough fireworks? Is it going to be just a projection show with a little bit of fireworks? But it turned out, it really has, I don't know if there's more fireworks in the last show. Like, I don't know how to know that. but it's still really strong as far as the
pyrotechnics. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's almost 20 minutes and there's fireworks in the sky almost nonstop. So I can't imagine how it couldn't be more. I believe this is the Toy Story,
Yes,
or the
this is a
Pixar.
Toy
There's like
Story.
a whole Pixar section.
There was somebody near me who said that it was the sickest thing he's ever seen.
Sickest.
Which I think is good now.
I believe that's a compliment.
When I was a kid, that wouldn't have been a compliment, even like a few years ago. And then somebody else was like, "Oh, I like Wishes better." And then he's like, "Ha ha, I was just kidding." Guests really love this show. When we were close to all these people around us, very close because it was very busy. Everybody just went nuts, really went nuts for it.
Yeah, you can see the crane. This was actually the debut performance, and they were doing a simulcast, I think, on the Disney Parks blog.
And there's a lot of colors, and they still have the shapes, just like Wishes had. I think this is the Aladdin segment.
Which is a nice tribute, because Aladdin was also featured in Wishes.
And they have like Aladdin, Big Hero 6, Brave, Frozen. And Frozen is not the same Frozen. It's not Let It Go, which is really nice.
I think it's Love is an Open Door, right? And it's a different arrangement. It's a very slow, completely different, and it works perfectly in this show.
Well, I Let It Go has been used so much, so it was nice to have not Let It Go. And here we have also the Tangled lanterns. And, there's a lot of people who have I don't want to say complained, but said, there's nothing classic in this because it really stops with Little Mermaid as the first show. But the thing is, Little Mermaid is now 30 years old. So maybe you're not going back to 1955, but you're still going back pretty far.
I dispute that because don't forget, Tinkerbell will make a surprise appearance later on, and that goes all the way back to Peter Pan, which is in the 50s.
That would be something, yeah. And all right, also, and don't we have Maleficent on the castle? So, you still have some characters,
just
older
seen
characters.
her previously, but now this is the Pirates of the Caribbean segment, which kind of reminds me of the Magic, Music, and Mayhem, the fireworks they had, limited time magic, where you're actually going to see explosions. See, on the castle itself, you're going to see little things going off. That's probably the most impressive is right here. I mean, look at this. The castle itself is being attacked.
So, and it's sort of like Disney Illuminations, though, I think has a segment like this in Paris.
They do.
So, but also they have 50 choreographed spotlights, a 75-piece orchestra recorded the score, and as you can see, just massive amounts of fireworks right here. And then they have the lasers and music. Just really a terrific show overall.
Not an easy show to see, though. They've actually made adjustments on the other shows, the Move It, Shake It, Dance, and Play It show. They've moved them all back because people line up in the street to see this, and there's Tinkerbell now. See her flying across there. And, it's just, you need to really plan if you want to get a good spot. Get there early and claim your spot.
And I'm totally the opposite, where I'll just show up and try to get something because I am 5'4". If somebody 5'6", is right in front of me, I'm going to not see very much. So I usually just like to show up last minute and then try to figure out, where my best standing is. And I stood with you guys, like I showed up, I waited for like an hour and then I walked away, but then we had a group and there was nobody in front of me. Like I had almost a perfect lineup toward the castle, which never happens. Like it never happens. So.
Yeah, that was very fortunate. But there was a whole group of us with tripods there, and I think people were trying to avoid being in front of us at that point. So I think it helped.
I don't think people really notice that as much, especially somebody who's just a little bit taller than me. I'm 5'4". So anyway, it turned out really good.
I should mention the song is available at iTunes right now.
Well, also Amazon has it, the Happily Ever After,
Yeah.
but not the whole show. Just 3
the
minutes
theme song.
or so song.
So now we're going to jump ahead. We are at the Carnival Vista in Miami here, looking at the Red Frog Pub, the first pub at sea.
So
A brewery at sea, I should say.
Yes.
First brewery at sea.
Yeah, not the first pub.
Yes, there's plenty of pubs at sea.
So we were invited overnight. We had been on the Carnival Vista for 5 nights previously. That was back in December. This is the newest ship Carnival has, and the Horizon will be the next one. And from now on, they're supposed to have breweries. And so they had invited us overnight, not on the ship. We didn't stay overnight because the ship was leaving, but in the Miami area. And brewmaster Colin Presby, he is the first brewmaster also for Carnival, and I think really at sea in North America at all. and he tapped the cask of this new Miami Guava wheat.
Right, and we're about to talk to him. He's going to explain the whole thing to us, and here he is now.
Today we're here for a celebratory tapping to celebrate American Craft Beer Week. And we are tapping our Miami Guava wheat beer, which is a wheat beer brewed with tangy pink guava.
Now, how long have you been working on this?
This beer is, the idea is several months in the works. The beer itself we brewed a couple weeks ago, and this is the first tapping of it, the first time we have it on board, and we'll have it on tap for the next couple weeks until it sells out. It's a single, one-time celebratory thing. Might rebrew it if it's really popular. I like it personally. We'll see what the guest response is.
And how often do you have special beers like what you have now?
We're starting to get into special beers a little bit more often, some seasonals. We've done a handful so far. We did a pumpkin ale. We did a hoppy wheat beer with some New Zealand hops, exploring some new ingredients. And going forward, we're going to be piloting some new batches for the next ship. Get our beers ready to go to the next ship, so we have some recipes and some different stuff on each ship as we go forward.
And honestly, that Miami Guava wheat, awesome beer. I really, really liked it.
And they may only have it for a couple of weeks, and there is Presby there. But they may end up rebrewing it if people like it. But we really enjoy the ship. And then we ended up staying in the Brickell neighborhood. I have not stayed in Miami in like 30 years. A long time.
Very long time.
So since high school. I think I was like 18 at the time, so more than 30 years. And this is the, as I said, the SLS Brickell is where we stayed.
But what a shock to find out right down the street in less than a minute walk is Vapiano, a wonderful place that we discovered when we were in Disneyland Paris a few months ago.
And so when we went to Disneyland Paris, I mean, I would have wanted to eat there like every day. But the lines are actually much longer. The Paris one is really big and probably like almost the same amount of counters. But it's really reasonably priced for food. We ended up splitting this dish. Actually, we got some extra raviolis for like $3. So we ended up splitting these 2 ravioli.
Yeah, that's a
items.
Single portion right there. And, you can
with
just
a little
add,
extra.
Yeah, a little extra. And that salad, a giant Caesar salad. What a deal. All of this was less than $20. The bread was included. Really, what a great experience. I really like the Vapiano.
Well, Vapiano, I guess somebody said that they're coming to Winter Garden area, so we'll see if that's really the case. If they do, if there's a Vapiano in your area, and there aren't that many in the United States, but we really enjoyed this. And it came from Germany, the restaurant, and the food and the way they serve and everything. Yeah,
everybody that goes in there gets a little card, like a little credit card. And even like for me, I put all the food on the one card, but at the very end, you give them in your cards, then you pay. So, if you want to get more or less, there's nobody that comes and takes your orders. It's very efficient and very good.
We had lunch and dinner there. So
now we're jumping ahead. We are at Disneyland here, and this is one of the Summer of Heroes offerings.
Well, obviously we're not there, but we're actually really excited because in July we'll be able to do this, as many of the others will be also who are watching for D23 during the D23 event.
Can't wait for the expo, yeah.
So they have the Summer of Heroes, which includes this, which is the Avengers Training Initiative, which is like a Jedi training academy, or that's what it seems like. Where kids can be involved as well.
Right, but here, instead of Jedi, you have Avengers.
Well, Black Widow is one of the Avengers,
we just saw the Black Widow,
right?
yes.
And then you have like Tony Stark and some others. And
Hawkeye is not
yes,
Hawkeye?
Hawkeye is one of them as well. So this is just one of the Summer of Heroes things that they have. I don't want to say things. One of the offerings.
One of the offerings.
So, but they have, like today, not only did Pandora open today, when we're talking about this,
we're recording
Animal
this on
Kingdom,
the 27th,
right? But also Guardians of the Galaxy and the Summer of Heroes has opened over at Disney California Adventure in Disneyland. And the Guardians of the Galaxy currently, Mission Breakout has a 5-hour wait. Like, when do you wait 5 hours for something?
Well, rather than that, you can go to the Guardians of the Galaxy dance party right here. Look at this. This is another of the offerings at Disneyland.
Well, you have Gamora and Star-Lord here, and then we'll see Groot as well. But I guess they're part of the dance party, and I don't think that they do a meet and greet as much as it's still interactive. So I guess in a sense you're dancing and meeting them at the same time.
Right. It looks like this part is the dance party going on, and then when it wraps up, they call out Groot, and then Groot will actually stick around and meet you. The fully grown Groot.
So I mean, I am a fan of Groot. I am not as big a fan of the Guardians movies, but I love Groot.
Well, you love Baby Groot. You fell in love with Baby Groot is what it is.
But I like the bigger Groot too. I'm not trying to adolescent Groot, but I like the other two.
I was told that's not really adolescent Groot. The director said it was young adult or something like that. I don't know. It's semantics. But here he is. There is the full-size grown Groot.
So this looks like fun. Like I'm really looking forward to, and we're really only looking at about 6 weeks until the D23 event happens, and we're very excited about that. But only about 6 weeks until we meet Groot ourselves, and that actually is probably one of the things I'm looking forward to most at Disneyland this year.
Do you know that Groot talks?
He probably says, "I am Groot."
He does. He indeed does say that. So yes, it's quite the conversation, just like with Baby Groot.
So, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys listening are going to be going to Disneyland for D23, but I really think that this will be, I'm hoping Fantasmic will be open also, but they have not announced a date on that.
Well, hopefully the train, the Mark Twain, the railroad will be open. So very exciting time at Disneyland.
But Groot will be here, and then they have food offerings, different food offerings. And
not to mention the tower.
Yes.
And now we're moving over to another Disneyland. This is Disneyland Paris once again. This is something that we never got to see previous to this year, the actual driving entrance to Disneyland Paris. And because we have the Infinity Pass, you have a special parking area, and we're about to see that. It is very close. It does not get any closer to the entrance than the Infinity parking. Too bad they don't have something like that here at Walt Disney World. That would be pretty nice, huh?
I actually enjoyed our friend Axel, who does a Curious Axel YouTube channel, plus you've seen him in a couple of our segments, drove us in a couple days, and I actually enjoyed coming in this way a lot because just the signage, and you're walking past the kennels.
There's Axel. There's a hidden Axel walking by. But it's nice that you feel like a local when you can kind of drive in, even though you're in France. And this is something you wanted me to show.
Yes,
this.
I thought that was cool with the Olaf on the side of the Coke machines. It's something a little different, something I haven't seen here. But as you're walking in, they have the kennels and some other areas that you wouldn't normally see.
This reminds me of the hidden Mickey at the Polynesian. On the floor there at the Polynesian Resort, and here is your entrance. It's kind of like Universal in a way because you have all these moving escalators that lead you in on the way in.
And it doesn't take very long from this location, so if you're at Disneyland Paris and you just want to come and see what it looks like, it wouldn't take you very long to do it. I totally forget which way it is now, so but you know what I mean?
Oh, I do not forget.
You have to ask
it's very easy.
The exit is.
You just take a left and walk to the sign that says car parking. Anyway, the whole reason we're talking about this is we got to go into Salon Mickey, and why don't you tell us what Salon Mickey is all about?
So Salon Mickey, if you are a shareholder of Disneyland Paris, and I don't know if they're shareholders anymore because
it still is. It hasn't been fully done yet.
And I think you need like 100 or more shares, and then a certain amount of times per month, you get to come to Salon Mickey, and you can have like coffee, hot chocolate. They have cookies and some other items. So it's like it's like a continental
little private
breakfast
lounge almost. It's a very nice little.
Well, it is a private lounge, and you also have an entrance from here into onto Main Street, I guess.
Right. So you give them your pass when you check in, and you're able to get your snacks. Like there are the cookies right there, and they had muffins, and you can also make coffee, and they have juice and water and all this. And then when you're done, they let you out this little back entrance, and you're fully in the park. You're in the the Disneyland Park of Disneyland Paris Resort.
It's really a nice area. There's Walt kind of in a I don't know, cast of some sort.
Yes, a very nice sculpt of Walt's head.
But this is really just a very nice location if you are a shareholder. And since Disney is buying out Disneyland Paris is essentially what they're doing.
Right. A lot of the shareholders were concerned they would lose this perk, but I guess it has been guaranteed.
For like 10 years.
And at least 10 years they will keep running the Salon Mickey.
I thought that was nice. I think that's it's a nice bonus for those who have been and are shareholders. So I think you can do like 4 visits per month here, and then you can bring a few guests. I think it was like up to 4 guests or something like that.
We were very fortunate. We were able to go
twice.
Twice, thanks to
I had never been
Axel.
before. And so you have, Walt Disney here on the wall. It's sort of like going, like if you go to Walt's, there's a lot of, there's a lot of artwork, but also a lot of Walt Disney in it.
Oh, now we're going to see the exit process that we just looked at. Just one last look at a few more pictures, more Walt Disney pictures and dignitaries. I think that was Dick Van Dyke, probably for the Mary Poppins premiere. And here we go. We're going to be heading out this little back door, and all of a sudden you are in, and there you are.
There I am.
but we're in the park, so it was a real nice way to start the day.
I love Disneyland Paris. I really do love Disneyland Paris. So, I mean, you're not quite out on Main Street. You're right here at the train station area. So, but it's really a fun way to do things. So maybe someday we'll get to do it again.
So we want to thank Axel
Yes.
and Elisa again for the nice offer to get us in, and I'm sure we'll have much more Disneyland Paris stuff to come in coming weeks. And you know what? That is another show.
That's another show. We went all over the globe. Not quite all over, but...
We want to thank our sponsors, MEI Travel and Mousefan Travel.
Yes, and definitely check them out. They can book everything that we've talked about today, which is pretty awesome.
Right, and now is the time. Now is the best time. There's lots of
There's
good
a
stuff.
lot to see.
So it should be a busy week. Today, again, we had some big openings. We are not at them yet, but we are intending to go and hopefully see Pandora tonight after dark. So
If they let us in.
If they let us in.
They
They
know what's
very
going on.
possibly won't let us in, but we'll get
And
in at
not
some
because
point.
it's us, it's because it's so busy.
Right.
At the park, we're looking at like 4-hour waits for Flight of Passage, like 3.5 hours for River Journey. I mean, really big waits, a couple of hours just to get in the land.
So we do intend to make an effort
At some
to
point,
do that. And we
yes.
did get to go one more time to Pandora yesterday for the soft opening. We had some good footage. There's a drum show and all that. And if we can get the new projection show, we will be doing that.
At Disney's Hollywood Studios, and we didn't even know about that until yesterday. It was something that really just kind of came out of the blue, which it's just kind of nice to see Disney do something unexpected like that.
Right, last minute
Addition.
Anyway, that's another show. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.